Hi there, my name is Chris White. I am one of the owners here at Kansas City's most trusted first-time homebuyer program. I want to welcome you to this very special presentation, and I want to encourage you right off the bat to go ahead and write my cell phone number down. You can see it there on the screen, 303-725-2299. If you have any questions about anything we talk about, I want to encourage you to go ahead and send me a text message or give me a call. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right in. What we're going to talk about today is why rent when you can own. Now, the purpose of putting this presentation together was we wanted to answer some of the most frequently asked questions that we get when we're talking to first-time home buyers. In fact, as you can see, what we've done is we've come up with the 10 most frequently asked questions we get asked. Now, before we jump into those questions, just a quick bit about me. Before I started helping people get into the home ownership position and become first-time home buyers, I was an officer in the military. I was actually in the United States Air Force. I spent time as a professor of leadership at the University of Colorado Boulder while I was in the military. I also spent about 12 months living in an Afghan village during Operation Enduring Freedom. And you can also see there on the screen is my family. That's my son Xavier there on the far left, my wife Andrea, and my daughter Vivian Eve. All right, so let me start by answering this question. Why did we decide to start financing homes? And the answer is really simple. If you look at the statistics, over 70% of people in America that want to own a home are not able to do that. For whatever the reason is in their particular situation, the banks will just not give those people loans to buy houses. And we really believe that everybody in America has the right and the privilege to own a home. And so we decided we wanted to be the company in Kansas City that was going to help people do that. Okay, so the first question that we get most often from people that work with us is this question here. I have bad credit. Is that okay? And the simple answer to that question is yes. As a company, we are not concerned with your credit. We are concerned with your character. And what that means is we want to know that if we help put you into the homeownership position, that you're going to be able to afford the monthly payment. Okay, that's the biggest thing for us. If you can afford the payment on the house, then we want to work with you. Okay, question number 2 is, do you work with banks? We get this question a lot, and the simple answer is no. We do not work with banks. Who we do work with is title companies. We want to make sure that the title to the house that we're going to put you in is clear, meaning there's nothing that's going to pop up down the road when you're ready to pay that house off that's going to cause you any issues. So we work with a title company to make sure everything is clean on the title. We work with a legal office, and we do that to make sure all the paperwork that gets put into place is in order and ensures that you're protected. Okay, the third company that we work with is an escrow company. And the escrow company is the company that collects your payments every month. So you don't actually send your payments directly to me. You send them to a third-party escrow company. And then what that company does is they keep track of the loan on a month-to-month basis so that at any point in time, you can see the loan on their website and you can see exactly what you've paid and what you have left to pay on the house. Okay, that's question 2. Question 3 that we often get is, what's the difference between renting a house and financing a house? Okay, so you're probably familiar with what renting is. Renting gives you the least amount of protection, right? In a rental situation, in a lot of cases, a landlord can sell the house out from under you. The landlord can put you in a position where you're going to have to move sooner than you'd like to. As opposed to financing a house, you are going to be in the home ownership position. You're going to have legal protection with contracts. When you're financing a house, you're going to have the opportunity to fix that house up and do whatever you want to it, which is not always the case in a renting situation. Most of the time, the landlords don't want you to do anything to the house. They want to take care of all of that. Okay, that's question number 3. Question number 4 is, how much do I need for a down payment? Okay, this is a great question. Inside of our program, our down payments are typically around $15,000. Okay, so with a $15,000 down payment, we can get you into the homeownership position and we can get everything taken care of that needs to be taken care of so that you are protected. All right, that's question 4. Question 5 is, why do I need a down payment? Okay. It's a good question. We get this question a lot. And the simple answer is that there's money that's involved when you're financing a house that isn't involved when you're renting. For example, those companies that I told you we work with, the title company. The title company charges thousands of dollars. In fact, we pay right around $6,000 to $8,000, sometimes $9,000 working with a title company to get a house closed. Okay, so you've got title charges, you've got charges with the legal company to get all of the paperwork done. I mentioned the escrow company has things that they charge for. Okay, so when we're talking about the down payment, we're really talking about the closing costs on the house. And most of our houses average somewhere around $12,000 to $15,000 in closing costs. And we put all of those costs on our credit card up front, and then we get that money back with the down payment so that we can pay our credit card off and we can keep moving as a company, and you can be in the home ownership position. Now, just so it's clear, that $12,000 to $15,000, that's going to be the case for most any house that you buy anywhere in America. There's always going to be closing costs, and that's a pretty good ballpark range to consider when it comes to those costs. Question number 6 is, can I make updates to the home? Now, this is one of the benefits of owning versus renting is the answer is yes. We encourage you, in fact, to make the home your own, right? Because it's going to be your house. It is your house. You're in the home ownership position. So if you want to paint it a different color, if you want to redo the carpet or the floors, or you want to paint the outside, or you want to put new light fixtures in, you want to put a new sink in, do something in the bathroom, anything that you want to do, we want to encourage you to do it because, again, this is your house and we want it to feel like home to you. Okay, question number 7 is, how am I protected? Right? This is a great question. You're going to be protected through having a clean title. Okay, we're going to make sure that title is clean. Number 2, you are going to be working with an escrow company. All right, all of your money is going to get funneled through an escrow company. You don't ever send it direct to my bank account, and that's going to protect you because the third-party escrow company has laws that they have to adhere to when they're collecting money, and so obviously they're going to make sure that's happening. And then the third way, which we mentioned, is we're working with a legal company, and they get all of the legal paperwork in place to make sure you have that contract with your signature and my signature on it, and that's going to be another layer of protection as well. Okay. Question number 8 is, how many years are the payments? Now, in our program, typically most of our houses are 30 years. All right. Now, we do 30 years because that keeps the payment as low as it can be. If you'd like to do 20 years or 10 years, oftentimes we can do that. And a lot of times, a lot of our buyers will do that. But we're always going to want to put you in the best position that you can be in. And if going for 30 years is the best position for you, then we want to support that. Okay, that's question 8. And then question 9 is, what makes up the monthly payment? Okay, there's a few things that make up the monthly payment that's different from a rental payment. The first thing is it's going to be the house payment. Okay, that's probably the obvious one. The second component that makes up the monthly payment is the taxes. So the county, as you probably are aware, charges taxes every year on every property in the county. Okay, so there's going to be a monthly tax expense. There's also going to be a monthly insurance expense. That's one you're probably used to, but of course you want to have insurance on the property in case it burns down or something happens to it. And then the fourth expense is the cost to the escrow company to pay them to manage the loan. And that expense is $25 a month. So very reasonable and very valuable to have that as part of the monthly payment. Okay. And then the last question that we often get is, why is our company the most trusted? You remember at the start of the presentation here, I said we are Kansas City's most trusted first-time home buyer. The main reason for that is we are able to put you into a house for the same price that it's going to cost you to rent that same house. Okay, so you can see here on the screen, this is a 4-bedroom house in Raytown. You can see we're working on it. We've painted it and we're fixing it up. Okay. Now we get our rental numbers from local property management companies. So what we always do is we'll call up a property management company and we'll say, hey, we've got this 4-bedroom house in Raytown. We've just completely fixed it up. if we were going to work with you, what would this house rent for? And in this example, this house would rent for $1,975 a month. Now you can see there on the screen, we are able to finance this house to our end buyer, our first-time home buyer, for $1,952.26 a month. So in this case, it's actually less than what it would cost to rent this house. So the question becomes, why would you want to rent when you can own? Okay, now the question you might be asking yourself is, Chris, why would you want to take less money to sell a house rather than keeping a house, for the long term when you can make more money on the rent? And it's a great question. And the answer is really simple. And it's a two-part answer. Number one is we really are passionate about helping people get into the home ownership position. We think it's everybody's right in America to be able to own a home and to not have a bank stand in your way and tell you that, you're not worthy or qualified to own a home. So that's number one. And then the second reason is we don't really want to be landlords. I don't want to be the guy that's getting a phone call in the middle of the night saying, hey, my light bulb went out, or my toilet's not working, or any of those type of things. I just don't want to deal with that. Okay, I'd rather be in a position where I give you all the power to do whatever you want to the house, and that includes being responsible for the maintenance. So it's really a situation where it's a win-win. You get to be in the home ownership position. I don't have to play landlord and be in charge of all the maintenance. Okay, so those are the 10 most frequently asked questions we get. What are the next steps? Right? I'm sure you've got questions. I'm sure there's things that apply to your circumstances that are different from other people's. And obviously, it's really hard to cover every single situation in a short presentation like this. So I want to encourage you, if you're interested in owning your first home and you've got a down payment, then I want to encourage you to go ahead and either call me or text me, and we'll get on the phone. We'll talk through everything, and we'll see if working together might be a good fit for you. If for some reason you don't have that $15,000 down payment, but you're really serious about owning a home, go ahead and text me and just say, hey, Chris, I know you said you got to have at least $15,000. Here's what I've got in my budget. Is there any way you can work with me? And, we'll see what we can do. Okay. So that's all I have for you. Thanks for your trust. I want you to know we don't take it for granted. It was nice to meet you, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye for now.